Hello and welcome to Living As Is. I'm Shar, and this week I'm going to be looking at my autism, spirituality, and self-awareness. Now, I have a question first of all. Are there spiritual differences between neurodivergent and neurotypical spirituals? No, I can't see any. To me, there are none. And let me explain this before you start jumping and throwing me out with the bathwater. The reason why my perception says there are no differences, for the simple reason we're all human. I checked out a dictionary, and according to this dictionary in spirituality, it is of relating to, consisting of, or having the nature of spirit, not material, supernatural, of, concerned with, or affecting the soul, not concerned with material or worldly goods. Having mental differences, differences in processing information, differences in empathy, differences in living, this could just as easily be applied to every living person. And many people, when I was diagnosed, many people said to me, oh yes, we can all be like that. And some even said, well, aren't we all a bit autistic? You know, you wish people would listen to themselves first. My life went off in the direction of being empathically stronger, more psychically inclined, and more sensitive than those around me. And it went on to becoming self-aware, leading to awakening. There's more sensitivity in neurodivergent people. Some people may relate a certain life sensitivity to being spiritual. However, it's my perception, my perspective, being spiritual has so much more to do with how you choose to perceive and live life. You can also say culture does not create people. People create culture. That being the case, for myself, there's no major difference spiritually between a neurodivergent and a neurotypical. Differences lie in other areas. And to help with this, I'm going to quickly backtrack in my life. The world for myself was a strange and unusual place. A place where I thought I was an alien living on Earth. It came over as people thought differently, perceived the world differently, and they definitely would act differently. How you handle life, this can be quite difficult, depending on how sensitive you are in life. Being neurodivergent, that sensitivity can be controlling and very difficult to come to terms with. Sensitivity for myself wasn't controlled per se. It was more that I came to understand self on a deeper level, to see where sensitivity came from, or the areas within myself where I was more sensitive. Recently, sorting these thoughts, I brought them into two areas. life, autism. This was for clarity of thinking. This was to help clear my mind. Not that I was trying to create two different thoughts, some dualistic thought line. Note I said seemingly. When we step into the period of time of my mother's cancer, I was her carer. It was an emotionally charged time. An event took place where all the pain, all the anxiety, all the stress, all the emotion was pushed up to the surface. I couldn't hold it. There was nothing I could do. And I just burst into tears, crying my heart out, tears flooding down my face, body shaking at the emotional pain. And something that never happened in my life happened. As externally, all of this pain is taking place and all these tears are happening, within, peace came over me. You could even call it a serenity. Within this moment, a thought arrived. I can stop this. Stop this. Stop the tears, the pain, all of it. Right now. This can be stopped. And as I say, with all of this external pain showing itself in all the tears, it was as if it wasn't like I was in my own bubble. I was experiencing this calmness inside whilst experiencing all of the angst on the outside. Yet they were connected. And the inside felt incredibly centered. The thoughts came back. I could stop this. The response was so sweet for myself. The response was, no. I'm going for it. I was letting all the pain and all the frustrations out. It was quite amazing. This moment of peace, I came to understand later as rasa, the essence of emotion. This was back around 2013, 2017 when my mum experienced cancer. She passed away, sadly, in 2017. Since this time, there have been other experiences of rasa, not just with pain, but also laughing out loudly and freely letting things go. As rasa is the essence of emotion, you can feel this presence in all emotions, all of them. It isn't singled out into just pain. It's not singled out into just anger. All emotions, happiness, wondering, you can feel it in all emotions. Now, we step back to where I sorted this into two areas, life and autism. Rasa has become an aid to seeing life, and I'm looking at the possibility of seeing my autistic triggers. If emotion breaks out, where someone angers me, upsets my equilibrium, my balance goes, that emotion can be seen and felt, normally in my chest. As there is a seeing of this emotion, a choice accompanies it. But no thinking, just a feeling responding. And this feeling can normally rein in the outburst. And I get calmed down. And it's like I've made a choice over this. I'm not going to experience this anger today. I see you, anger. I know where you've come from. I know why you've arrived. But I'm not experiencing this at this moment. And then there's other times where it's, yeah, I see where you come from and I think I need to let this anger out. So I get a choice. However, and this is a bloody large however, come to my autism and oh boy, are we in a different field of responses. When my autism is triggered, this is felt within the gut. The moment this feeling arrives, I generally accompany it with a cursing to myself, which is shit, because I know what's coming. And no amount of rasa understanding is going to block this. I'm an explosive autistic. No physical lashing out, no hurting myself, just a tremendous shouting, swearing, stimming, body jerks, pacing the floor. The anger or whatever emotion is triggered has to find a way out. The good thing is, I'm actually expressive. I'm creative. I can be a bit wordy, write poetry. I can be expressive. So when I get the feeling I'm about to explode autistically, and first of all, luckily, it can be like a slow rocket liftoff. This gives me time to find a person to talk to, because through expressing, I'm able to come into contact with the charged emotions and calm myself. If no one can be found, or the emotion is particularly strong, I'll explode. Now, the thing is, even if I find someone, it doesn't mean I won't explode. Now, here's the difference, which I feel lies in the subconscious mind. Neurodivergence is not just about being wired differently. It is also linked into the way information, emotions, and experiences are processed. And I feel, and probably also starting to believe, the seeing to this lies within the subconscious. Deepening further within self-awareness and awakening, it's my feeling I may come more and more into contact with this rewiring. At one stage I used to think, oh, this is quite easy. But it's not really easy. It's as hard for anyone in life, whether neurodivergent or neurotypical, to overcome their personal blocks and issues to self-awareness and awakening. We're humans, and in many ways conditioned to think in certain ways. And trying to overcome that conditioning, trying to overcome these ways in which we're conditioned, that creates difficulties within itself. Adding the neurodivergence sensitivity into it, then it's even harder. First of all, though, what I do want to say is, I'm not saying that what I find here will or can reverse autism. In this instance, I found in myself a seeing of my autistic emotional reactions, and a way to handle this within myself has been to talk it through with someone. Simple. Also, I'm not bringing an answer to cure autism. Again, moving back to the seeing of my emotions in general, there's an apparent space between the sensing of general emotions and the triggering of autism. What I feel is that the perception of growing within my self-awareness is only opening a door to see the emotional states overall and the possibility to calm myself during any emotional state, not a reversing, curing, or even cancelling out of autism. It's giving myself space to step back and release what I choose to release what's been shown to myself is there's a seeing of emotions. They can be opened, released. Also feeling the responding to an autistic trigger, which I will need more space and a bit more time to be settled, if at all. There's a definite apparent block to being able to step into the autistically triggered emotion compared to what I label as a life emotion. Also, and believing what I'm perceiving within my own life applies equally to other neurodivergence, which means whilst on some level emotions can be perceived, accepted and calmed, there are autistic triggers which may take time to come into contact with through the deeper understanding within self. Also feeling a large extent to calming myself and being able to handle what life throws at me has come down to looking into myself. Counseling has played a large part in that. Looking at my issues, being able to face my demons and whatever dark experiences life decided to hand to me. Not been easy. Also, what has been learned through spiritual understanding, different practices and belief systems, they were brought into understanding myself, which in turn brought me to understand self and being self-aware, ultimately placing me on the path of awakening to the extent emotions can be calmed. So there's this space I find myself in where life can be seen. Life can be opened, and I'm a part of it. Not being played by life, not being played by conditions within life, not being played by my programming, which some people might even call hypnotherapy. I'm not being played by life as much as I used to be. In some areas, it's still a work on progress, but that's the deepening within self. That's the deepening of self-awareness. That's the awakening taking place. So more to be understood. Now, next step, fingers and toes crossed into deeper sensing and seeing of my autism. And I'll keep you a track of that. So thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for coming in and listening. Thank you for watching. I'd like you to click like and subscribe and be ready for the next video when that comes out. So thank you all once again. Blessings to you all.